Welcome to another episode of Coffee Conversation, the Emerging CyberSec series, powered by the Emerging India Forum, TEIF, Lions Club of Mumbai Shining, India Business Group IBG, Indian Chamber of International Business ICIB, our tech partner, Prime Infotech Solution. So today's theme is 10 things you should know about secure digital identities. Our guest of the day is Ajay Bhayani. Let's hear what Ajay is all about. A security technocrat by profession and an entrepreneur by choice. He is Director Security at AmbiSure Technologies. His specializations are in brand protection, security of identity and consulting organizations on cybersecurity, reviews and compliance, cybersecurity marketing, IT strategy and execution, technology, integration, security development. He has hosted many security talk shows with security experts. So welcome, Ajay. Just to explain you our format, we have 3 rounds in coffee conversation. One is a professional journey, your personal journey, and third one is a surprise rapid fire round.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
So thanks a lot for having me, Bhai, and pleasure to be on the show. Definitely looking forward for more interesting discussion on this. I hope I can really add value to it.
Thank you. So let's begin, Ajay. My first question. What inspired you to become a cybersecurity evangelist, Ajay?
Okay. Now, see, I mean, I think there is a bit of a background noise, Amirr. There is no background noise coming at you, right? It's coming back. My voice, it's getting back to me.
No, I can hear you clearly. So do I start again?
No, it's fine. Sometimes I'm able to hear my voice back, so it's probably, I don't know, the recording will get affected. We'll look into that. Chalo. Right. So basically, when you talk about being a cybersecurity evangelist, that was never a thought process. Whenever I started my journey in the IT field, it was always a thought process कि कुछ अलग करना है. And thought process came from from my early school days. When we were in SSC and we were discussing as a friends. It was always a thought process कि भाई सब लोग साथ में रहेंगे, सब साथ में काम करेंगे, स्टडी साथ में करेंगे and all those. बस वो school type का format होता है. And I was always of the view कि यार अगर सब लोग कर रहे हैं, that means it is easy to do. And I was only one of the students in my class. I was the only student, not one of the students. I was the only student in my batch who did take science as a career option. We all were like, maybe from the business families, and our thought process was to really, do commerce or arts or anything like that. And never, no one was in the class was so in the thought process of कि भाई engineering करना है, ये सब करना है. No, I didn't do an engineering, but the idea was that something very different. And it is different from the crowd is what the idea was. And after my graduation, I did my postgraduate in foreign trade and software technology, and I became a developer. Of course, developers were in demand those days. I'm back in 2004, 5, 6, right? So, and that's where I came across something which was expected from the industry that while you're doing development, what about the security? And that's where I realized there's a lot of thought process around it. I started my security journey with the PKI, which is called Public Key Infrastructure. This is something which is a core of any security technologies, right? It could be, right? This is something which a hardcore security technology would really be. And that's where, I realized that there is a lot of gaps in the market because security is more of across India. It's more of a reactive in nature. It's never a proactive activity. And that's where, it felt like, it is really required for a person to really do a lot of evangelization of what security is, what should be there, understanding of the technology, a lot of other things.
So my next question will be, Ajay, I'm curious about to know about the name AmbiSure. How did it come up, and when did this journey as an entrepreneur start?
Well, so it's an interesting question. So we had, I had pigeonholed myself because when I was thinking of doing a company, I had a different company altogether at that time. It was called as a Software Product Limited, and it was a software development company. And I wanted to have something which was sounding similar to what security is. Now, when you talk about security, what is the whole message outside security? There are two things. One is you should be having the surety of your what you're doing, and you should be secure enough, and it cannot be achieved by an individual person. It has to be a collaboration, right? So one thing is what AmbiSure means is that it's either I am secure, right? So it's I am secure, AmbiSure, and it can be only achieved with a collaborative opportunities, right? Working collaboratively. So it is not only the IT teams which comes into play. It has to be teams who have to come together and secure the organization or secure a company or enterprise. And that's where the tagline comes into picture, which is "Let's secure IT." Another aspect which what we thought of was, when we came out with this name was having surety in ambiguity is what an ambition.
Interesting. So every company name logo has some story to share and tell. So my next question will be, how has the journey been till date at AmbiSure?
Well, it's been a very interesting journey. I would say every time, when because as I said, I was a developer earlier, and for me, it used to be every day there is a new way of learning, because right from learning from technology to the security concepts, it was always multiple step process. So you have to understand, you have to make sure that it is understandable to your customers. Is what something which is here. Because not everybody is much aware of the security, right? And of course, whatever I today is because of my customers, because it gave us an opportunity to help them secure their environment. And in turn, we learned a lot of things from there. How an organizations really go ahead and pursue security, what needs to be done, why it is really required to have a regulatory mandate. Earlier, it seemed like, regulatory mandates are just a tick in the box approach, but though it seems like that, but it gives a very good thought process for an organization to really kickstart a security journey if they do not have anything in place. There are a lot of learnings which has come into picture, right from, I can actually take a whole session on, what all I've learned over a period of time, right from, spreading awareness to the people who are not in marketing, who are in the accounts team, to explaining or engaging with the where they are completely non-functional, they are more business oriented, they want to talk in numbers, and they want to see that how security is really helping them in improving their numbers across the organization. Whatever the compliance is there or there doesn't matter, but security is helping to improve my business. So that is the kind of learnings which we have, for people to get across at AmbiSure.
Interesting. So coming to this, another question is, entrepreneurs and companies sometimes have misconceptions about cybersecurity. What are they, and how do you work to dispel those?
Well, see, one of the major misconceptions which I have always approached or have received when I have been talking to my customers and all, one is that, okay, when you talk to the businesses and all, ये IT का काम है, okay, मेरा IT वाला है, वो काम कर रहा है, वो security handle करता है. But please understand one thing. You will also hear people saying that security is everyone's business. Yes, it is everyone's business. It is not, only IT business. It's equally fact. But more over that, security is a management problem. It is not an IT problem. It is not a problem of an accounts team जहाँ पे ज़्यादा finances handle होता है. It is not a problem of a low level guys who are managing IT and other stuff. Not a clerical work. It's purely a management, because security, when you look at the security, it has to be a thought process. It has to be a culture which drives the whole organization. Please understand one thing today, that today every business, Kirana shop ho, there is a huge organization. Everything runs on an IT. Everything runs on a digital medium, right? And I'm not saying that physical security is not necessary, but now your boundaries of security have gone to the pockets of the people, right, in your mobile phones. How are you going to control the data which is flowing across all your networks to the mobile phones, right? And that's where everybody is responsible. But if you have to have a culture, it has to be driven from the management. You need to have a cultural understanding from the management that we are security conscious, we are security investigative, right? Those are the things which is really required. So that's one of the major misconceptions is there. Another misconception which I have seen is that, security is a one-time investment. It's not. It's not. I mean, ये ऐसा नहीं है कि भाई आपने गोदरेज का लॉक लगा दिया और काम खत्म हो गया, right? Because security is as good as your weakest link. Because when you are applying security, if you are an IT person, you understand that when there are 7 layers of OSI are there, every layer requires a security. Security has to be layered approach. I'll just take an example. In previous years in mythology, you have always learned that whenever they are going on an attack, there are layers of chakravyus and all being set, right? That एक layer pass किया, दूसरा layer pass किया. Security is just like that. When you are protecting your organization, that's your fort. One is something which is at a perimeter. Then there is something because then you say you have hot oil which is being poured on the attackers. So that's how you protect your organization. That's how you defend your organization. So you need to have a multi-layered approach. मैंने खाली firewall लगा लिया, antivirus लगा लिया, VPN लगा लिया. It is not security, boss. Today that is something which is a basic necessity of security. मतलब आपने अगर 4 दीवार बनाया हुआ है तो you need to have a door, you need to have a lock. That is what your firewall, VPN and antiviruses are. When you are talking about a cybersecurity, you are actually creating a series of layers of defense mechanisms, right? It can be on your network application layer. It can be on your authentication layer. It can be on your internet layer. There are multiple layers, and you have to protect yourself at each layer. And there is a different thought process for each layer. It cannot just be, okay, मैंने ये layer किया तो similar way I will approach a security or defense for another layer. It doesn't happen that. Right. So again, as I said, it's just not one-time activity. It has to be, and you cannot apply everything on day one. Because what happens is that if you try to do that, organization is not ready for it. मतलब आप बोलोगे कि नहीं, मेरे एमडी ने बोला कि भाई मुझे एकदम 100% सिक्योर एनवायरनमेंट चाहिए. ठीक है, आप एमडी के पास जाओ, सर मेरा 15 करोड़ का बजट है. ओके, एमडी ने अप्रूव भी कर लिया. You implemented it also. If you do not have enough resources to do it, right, it will not happen. It's a journey. It's a journey which you have to actually go ahead and approach it. The organization as a whole has to become mature to achieve that journey, right? There is no race to it that okay, you are the most mature company, because most mature companies also get attacked or they also get breached. But at the end of the day, it is a journey which you have to travel, and every organization has its own level of journey.
Interesting insights you have shared, Ajay. My next question will be any funny story you have with a client and a horror story.
Funny stories are as good as horror stories. So I mean, again, the funny stories are because I'll tell you why. Because there is the lack of understanding is what is required. I mean, I'll tell you, not to name any specific, but I was working with on a project on developing a AI for an organization. And we used to have the, when we were having these final discussions with the customer, there were a couple of bureaucrats who would also come into the picture for the meeting. At that time, when we are talking about setting up a complete PKI infrastructure at that particular departmental level. Now, one thing which came up with when you talk about PKI setup is about digital certificates. Now, when you talk about digital certificates, these digital certificates can be SSL certificates, can be digital signatures, it can be document signing certificates, and all those stuff. And we were receiving, questions like, Ajay, you are going to issue so many certificates. Your technology is going to issue so many certificates. How it's going to reach the masses? Public को कैसे मिलेगा? आप लॉजिस्टिक्स कैसे हैंडल करने वाले हो? आप उनका ये आप सर्टिफिकेट उसको प्रिंट आउट निकाल के कुरियर करोगे या फिर आप उनको ईमेल पे भेजोगे जो वो सर्टिफिकेट प्रिंट करेंगे? नहीं सर, ये ऐसा नहीं होता. Because see, there's a lack of understanding. They don't come from the security background. You can understand that, right? But this is the kind of funny stories you have it. Another thing is like, again, this is a lack of understanding, which I would say is that one of the customer when I went through is Ajay, मैंने अभी next generation firewall खरीदा है, okay, and we are 100% secure. We do not have an issue at all. Now, please understand, when you talk about having a next generation firewall already in place, you have invested like 80 lakh rupees on this next generation firewall for a large organization. Now you really don't need anything because you have everything comes into, gets filtered on the network and only comes inside. But when we ran, certain technologies and showed them that this is where the challenges are, that's why they really realized, okay, why you really need to have other layers of security. As I said, you need to have a multiple layers, right? So that's where, the understanding came into picture. But yes, it is the cultural issue, it is the mindset which really comes into picture, right? And that can only be developed by the right engagement with the right authorities is what can happen. You cannot sit down with the people who are doing something which is on a day-to-day mundane job. So somebody who is really responsible for a organization is the right person for you to look into.
My next question, we want some tips from you for protecting the digital identities.
Let me define this first. What do you mean by digital identity? Digital identity can be anything. When you talk about an organization, okay, a digital identity can be a user who is coming inside the organization, the employee of the organization. It can be some visitor. It can be somebody, some customer who is like, of course, a visitor. Then it can be the machines who are getting connected to the network. Right? It can be the application which is running into the network, because you do not want. So there is a concept of what we call it as a zero trust environment, which is now being there. Now, just like security, zero trust is not a product. Okay, it is just not one. It's a process. To achieve zero trust or to achieve security, it's a huge process which has to be there. And when we are talking about securing digital identity, it's just not you're securing the individual data of an organization, of an individual or an employee of the organization. You are actually securing each and every aspect of the organization, each and every aspect which has an identity. Because your machines also communicate with each other, right? Your server communicates with your with the client machines, the servers communicate with different servers outside your organization. So you need to also protect the identity of that. Right? And there are multiple ways to do it. You can do it through multi-factor authentication. You can do it through a PKI implementation. You can do it through, having an approach of zero trust in your environment. So there are multiple ways to really do it. There are technologies which can really automate this. You have your infrastructure on cloud. You have got servers on cloud. That also has a digital identity. Organization has its digital identity, which is exposed to internet. Organizations have their social media accounts. That's their digital identity. So when you talk about a digital footprint, it's really, really vast, and you need to protect everything, right? When we talk about protecting the brand is also an identity, right? You need to protect that also. You need to make sure that the brand is not abused, brand is not misused, right? Nobody is using the brand to spread a malware or a fake news. right? So there are too many aspects of it, right? Every identity has to be protected. And there are multiple layers to it. So just like talk about identity, there are multiple layers to it. You need to protect it on email layer, you need to protect at the access level, you need to protect it on internet layer, multiple layers you need to.
Interesting. So another topic of securing digital identities was at an individual level, at corporate level, there are too many layers and too many things are there. My next question will be, you have to work with a cybersecurity professional. So how do you manage the relationship, which sometimes can be become delicate?
Well, see, at the end of the day, if everything is working fine, there is no problem. Everything is hunting. The main problem comes into picture is that how much are you doing to make sure that if the customer is at problem or if whatever you have implemented is not working, what are you doing to do for that? And what is your risk mitigation plan to it? Because irrespective of how good a technology could be or how good an evaluation of an organization could be, right? You are meant to breach or, sorry, not breach, you're meant to leave some gaps in the evaluation. Or if you're implementing any technology, there are going to be some aspects which are going to really, leave the gap in the system. So that's where, we as an organization, what we have been doing is whatever technology which we are implementing, and this is something which I learned in my early days when we used to do, PKI implementations and multiple. One thing which we realized is that customers are going to give you a lot of trust, their trust, as well as their money to really implement a security technology in their organization. And it is your job to make sure it happens in a perfect way. So what we did was we learned the technology and now we made sure that how that technology can be really implemented. How can that organization utilize the technology in the best of the effort? Because what happens is that I'll give you a simple example. We used to do a data security implementations a lot, and during the one thing was that when you're doing data security, one of the major aspects is you need to know data classification. People never used to do it. They used to say, "Pehle DLP implement kar do." And even if they are implementing DLP, it used to be like they are using DLP, and if you actually look into the configuration, the data is still moving in and out of the organization. Critical data is still moving out of the organization. Why? Because DLP, which is implemented, which is for data leakage protection, it is still on the monitoring mode. They cannot put on the reject mode. Why? Because the moment they put on the reject mode, they need to make sure that if anybody's business is the emails of the businesses are not going outside, because there are a lot of information which is going outside the organization. Now you need to really classify this data. Unless you don't do that, it doesn't happen. The implementation really goes back. So what is happening is after technology to laga diya, but we really don't know how to really implement the technology, how to utilize the technology which is for the benefit of the organization. And to avoid such kind of blind implementation, we make sure that we learn the technology in and out. We should know that the technology is doing this. This is what the responsibility of the technology is, and this is the best thing which the technology can really do. Right. So that's where our learning came into picture, and this is what that was our early days, and this is what we are doing with almost 20 plus technologies we have there in our portfolio today, and we have been doing across multiple organizations.
Interesting. Now, my next question will be, Ajay, if you are involved in helping students with learning skills and everything, what advice would you give to a budding CyberSec IT student who just completed? What would be your one advice? What should we focus on?
Well, one thing is, in security, everything is possible. Why I'll tell you why security, everything is possible, because when security in a digital world touches to every aspect of the organization, right? It can be business aspect, it can be operations, or it can be HR, it can be anything. There are multiple aspects to, security is what is going to be there. But what a student, a graduate, a graduate from engineering college, right? Somebody who has done a bachelor's in science, or somebody who has done a bachelor in cybersecurity also. Right? There are multiple fields which they can get into. It is not that it is not possible. You can go into audit, you can go into ethical hacking, you can go into governance, risk and compliance. You can go into cybersecurity implementation, you can go into cybersecurity technology. A lot of things are there. But one thing which is common to everything which is required, and this is I've learned it over a period of time, is security is something which needs to be sold in the organization. And I'm not talking from a perspective that it has to be done from a perspective that I'm selling technology or a organization, and that's why it has to be done. No, that is not a selling which you need to do. Okay, when I say security needs to be sold to an organization, is that you need to really able to communicate the benefit of security to the business, to your management, to the business head, so that they understand it, they come to the cognizance that they need security in the organization. Communication is something which is the most important aspect. आपने VAPT कर लिया, vulnerability assessment suspicion testing कर लिया, you have created a 40-page report. You go and give it to a business guy. उसने बोला भाई ये क्या लिखा हुआ है? IT का ये मुझे समझ में नहीं आता. But you need to explain that. You need to convert that technical knowledge into a business language and tell them that boss, this is required. Right, so that's what the whole aspect. There are a lot of things to be done, but one thing which is really required. A very strong communication skill is something which is required for an individual to excel in cybersecurity.
Thank you for this wonderful advice that you have given. Students who will be watching this episode, please follow the advice given by Ajay sir. Next question will be: we are part of Assert. Together, I want to know, okay, how does a role of association or a group plays on your career?
Well, that's a major. I would being a part of an association really expands the reach, right? Because now it is not that one person who's, me as an individual going to the companies and talking about security. But the moment you are a part of an association, and especially an IT association like Assert, right? I'm also part of other associations. But when you talk about Assert association, like it said, the impact which comes into the market is tremendous. Because see, you don't have to invest in marketing, right? You have your associated partners. That's a major benefit. But not only that, that's a business benefit, I would say. But another part is that, when you are working with your association members, we know security, what you're doing. And before even you go and talk to the customers, your more than 50% of the work is done because they have already explained the benefits of security to the customer. Now, the only thing which I need to go and do is something is like, boss, ये करना है. मुझे ये समझाने की जरूरत नहीं कि आपको क्यों करना है. That Q part is already done by the associates in the association. That is something which is a major benefit you would get.
Interesting. So anyone from the IT field looking forward to join association, to join, become a member of Assert. Any details you want, me and Ajay are there to help you out. You can connect to us. So my next question will be in the last question for your professional journey. Someone who wants to start his journey as an entrepreneur, startup in the field of cybersecurity. What should he start with, and how should he develop himself?
Well, the only thing we need to do is we need to start identify the gap in the industry. So, for example, you are an ethical hacker, which is where most of the companies start. If you're an ethical hacker, you're good in finding vulnerabilities and issues like that. Create a niche about it. Create something of really value add this out of it, that you can do a VAPT. And see, the doing VAPT is not a rocket science, but how well you can present that findings so that person should be able to fix that in the easiest way. It's something the value. If you're able to really create, and actually industry needs such type of people. It is a very resource intensive requirement which is there. But if you are able to really showcase that, okay, this is something real value add, start with that. Start with a very niche aspect to it, and that is where you can earn business. And abhi aisa to nahi hai ki bhai, when you talk about that security is only the enterprise job. No, very small organizations also has to go through the cybersecurity requirements or cybersecurity audits or through a VAPT journey, because every organization one or other way are servicing large organizations. So now it is required that a smaller organization also has to follow the security journey, and that's where there's a tremendous opportunity. Money may not be good in the initial days. I remember when I started with TKI, I used to spend 1 hour, 1.5 hours with customers just explaining what an SSL certificate is. Right? So spend time in explaining, spend time in value, evangelizing what you are actually doing, and success is always there for you.
Now, let's go to the personal journey of yours. What is the favorite activity you do in your leisure time?
Okay. Well, if you're talking, if I'm not working, I'm normally either playing table tennis or going for a cycling is something I do that on a regular basis. Or else, I spend time with my kids at home. That's where normally the Sundays are for. I normally do not get time to spend time with my family. So that is one of the leisure times. But yes, from a learning perspective, if you ask me what I really do, is something which I keep on reading a lot of news and how actually the cyber attacks happen, because that really helps us understand what are the new type of threats which are coming, and what can be really do to protect against the such kind of attack.
My next question will be, what are your hobbies from childhood which you have continued till now?
Well, I mean, I never had a specific hobby in place, because there was always multiple phases around. During that time, there were times where I used to collect tickets and all. But one thing as a hobby is something is to be inquisitive for whatever I do. What is there? I mean, not to really go into hopping around on multiple topics, but yes, the idea is to do a reading is something which has really stuck with me. Right? Because that's what, reading through the lengthy piece of information which comes about cyber attack, that is something which is really helping me.
That's interesting. My next question will be, Ajay, whom do you follow or admire in the cybersecurity field in India as well as international?
Well, there are multiple ones. I mean, I can actually pull out a list in my Twitter account and tell you that these are the people. But yes, a couple of people whom I really admire in cybersecurity section in India, got and they are also very good colleagues with me. There is our industry mentor called Dinesh Mahendra. Right? He's well known. I mean, I call him personally as a Dadaji in cybersecurity. Right? And then we have Ritesh Bhatia, who's a well-known cybersecurity guy. My personal mentor, who actually gave me an inroad, right? Mr. Curry, he's there. He has been very instrumental in giving me an input to cybersecurity, right? Globally, there are names like from Kevin Mitnick to multiple guys who have been there in cybersecurity, done good job. And I keep on listening to Jeff White, if I'm not wrong. He's an amazing speaker in security. So
my next question will be, have you tried ChatGPT in your life?
Yeah. I mean, the day it was released, I did a lot of activities. There is a lot of activities to be done through.
Give some examples. Because today only I attended one exploring ChatGPT. It was very interesting to know. I'm also using ChatGPT for multiple things, but I want to know from your point of cybersecurity how someone can use ChatGPT in their for cybersecurity work.
Okay, so let's understand one thing. See, when you talk about ChatGPT, it is not a tool to give you a specific answer. Okay, it's a tool to give you a perspective. It is a tool to give you a framework or an outline to what you really want to achieve. So let's say if you want to implement it in an organization, and let's say if I want to make a policy of cybersecurity on ChatGPT, okay, you give them an input. Okay, I'm a 40 user organization, or I'm a 400 user or 4,000 user organization. I need to have a cybersecurity policy covering 1, 2, 3, 4 points, and it will create a 2,000 word page. Now, that is not exactly what you need, but this becomes a very good base for you to map it to your thing. So this is something which is there. I mean, you can use it to create a cybersecurity culture in your organization. Because now you know your business the best. You do not depend on any consultant, third-party consultant. Of course, it is required, I would say, but at least on an initial side, at least you don't know. When you at least walking steps 1, 2, 3, वो time पे आपको जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी. Of course, expert advice is always needed. But at least वो जो basic consulting करना रहता है कि सर मैं security में क्या करूँ, मैं antivirus ये वाला implement करूँ कि वो वाला implement करूँ. At least वो thought process जो है ना वो आपको यहाँ से मिल जाएगा. Right? It will not give you a comparison between two antivirus, but it will tell you that what an antivirus should have. Now you can sit down and evaluate. Either you give it to an IT guy, चलो भाई ये वाली functionality चाहिए मुझे, या फिर ये वाली policies मुझे implement करनी है. Just look at it and just do it. Right? So that's what your ChatGPT is going to really help.
Yes, experts are required. ChatGPT is just guiding points it gives you. So every divine has made role for everyone. ChatGPT, like they were talking about this thing of by the calculators, people were wearing they were maintaining the books manually. Accountants were scared that hamara kya ho jayega. So everyone has a role. You have to adapt, adopt, and use it according to the new ways of working. So good answer you give that framework. That is brilliant answer you gave for using ChatGPT. If you don't depend fully on ChatGPT, it will screw you.
It will screw you, definitely. Things, generic baat karoge. And in today's world, specific verification is not required.
There is another topic of discussion which we can have. You are very active with cyberthreat community, which I'm also a member over there. What attracted you to be involved in this community, and what are the offerings of cyberthreat?
Well, so cyberthreat is one community where you have no, there is no eligibility. Right? It's a community where you all come together, all security professionals, risk management professionals, enterprise risk management professionals can come together and discuss without any, I would say, I'm not getting the right word. Without any limitations, I would say, or without any pursued perspective. Because what happens is that when you go to such kind of communities, there is always a thought process that you need to be a security professional of so-and-so organization of so-and-so size, then you become a part of that community. But cyberthreat is not that. You have a CISO who is a member of this community. You have a security consultant who is a member of a community. You have a security vendor who is also. The whole beauty of the community is that we sit down and discuss security. We do not discuss कि भाई ये वाला OEM है, ये वाला antivirus है, ये वाला technology है, and that's what it should be. No, it's not that. You want to learn security, right? This is what the community you should be, because there is a lot of learning. There are multiple groups around it which you can really. I mean, the day I was interacting with cyberthreat, the whole idea for me was to really create a community which is irrespective of any vendors or anything. It's a common platform for everyone to really come down and create a content and create a information which is easily consumable for all the people across the anyone who wants to go get into security, right? So that is something which is which is really very good. Okay, and that's where we started creating a lot of content around it. And my as an advisor, my whole focus was to really make sure that the right content is being made. The right content is because again, you do not want security which is just definition driven. You don't want to learn that. You want to learn more with the more experiences. So that's where the industry expert comes into picture. They come down, they come together, they share their real time experiences. That this is how an attack happened. This is how it was mitigated. You don't have to name and shame any companies, but at the end of the day, when you actually come here, you can discuss a lot of experiences together. That's what the whole idea of the community is. Right? Today they have got multiple. They've got regular sessions which they keep on doing it. Right? They have got Fridays. They have got regular webinars which keeps on happening. Right? They've got physical meetups which keeps on happening on multiple cities across India. Right? So yeah, a lot of things which are there. I mean, you can always go on cyberfed.com, find out the events and all, to get an idea.
So any senior professional, consultant, vendor, to join CyberSecurity community. More details as Ajay has given. We'll share the link. You can contact Gaurav Batra also, who is a founder now. The community has become a more bigger community and more services, more things. So you all can become part of this community. And we are very fortunate to honor them during Corona time with the Corona Warrior. CyberSecurity was one of the recipients. Gaurav Batra, Ritesh, his wife, so many security professionals, because they were contributing during that time. Now, my next question will be, Ajay, we want to know, how do you describe Ajay in one word?
That's a difficult question, I would say. Well, you will not find me somewhere if somebody is doing a mundane thing. You will mainly find me in the areas where if there is a difficulty, or if there is a difficult situation which your normal people cannot solve, I can be the person to help you out.
Where do you see yourself in after 5 years, Ajay?
Well, now that's pretty clear to me. One thing, I mean, the whole idea of doing the regionalization of security is to really reach those areas, especially at the national level, to help a community to really build a cybersecurity culture across the nation. Right, that is the whole idea. Right, it's to make sure that the right technologies are implemented. It's not to promote the technologies, but it is to really make sure that the right, not the technology, but the right processes and procedures are set for cybersecurity perspective. And that is what my helping organizations, being a part of advisory boards of the companies is what something which I'll definitely look at it from a cybersecurity perspective.
So best wishes that you achieve whatever you have visualized, and we'll have a couple of coffee conversations, and we will have a coffee conversation after 5 years also with you, because you now have become integral part of the coffee conversation community, which we are on Meetup also. We are around 1,500 members on the Emerging India Forum Meetup community. So you're one of the privileged mentors, experts to this community. Now, we're coming to the surprise round, the rapid fire round. Which is your favorite place, Ajay? Ahmedabad or Mysore?
Ahmedabad.
I knew that. There's another story. Okay. English songs or Hindi songs?
Songs that convey the value or the right meaning is what I look at, rather than any language. I listen to both the genres.
Okay. IPL or Test cricket?
Test cricket.
Hardware or software?
Software.
Full form of DLP.
I'm sorry?
Full form of DLP.
Data leakage.
We didn't hear you.
Okay, data leakage protection.
So, so with this, we come to an end of coffee conversation with Ajay Bhayani. So thank you to all our committee partners, to our guest speaker, to team coffee conversation. It was a lovely conversation. Our tagline, you stick to our tagline, Ajay, and we are happy. Our tagline is enriching lives through engaging conversations, which you truly did during this.
I really enjoyed this conversation, Amirr bhai. It was really fantastic, and it was really never had such kind of discussions in the year past. So I mean, really good. Thanks a lot for having me here, and I'm really happy to really add value to your audience on this.
Let's do cheers with this.
Cheers. I am.
Yeah. Good problem.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.